Good morning and welcome to Coffee Ann, the longest-running panel discussion show in American radio. To make a comment or ask a question of the panel, call 401-766-1240 or email coffee@woonsocketradio.com. And now, let's join the Coffee Ann panel.
It's Coffee Ann here on ON, AM, and FM. Thanks for joining us Tuesday morning. It's June 18th. My name is Joe Callahan. That person coughing is Linda Thibault.
Good morning.
Good morning to you,
Sorry
Linda.
about that.
That's quite all right. It happens. Ed could not be with us, so we dragged this guy in off the street. It's Tom Ward, everybody. Hey.
Good
Tom
morning.
hasn't been here it's
Long
been at
time
least
no-
a year, hasn't it?
Oh, all of that.
Longer than a year, right?
Yeah.
All right, so we dragged Tom in because we like Tom, and we'll see what he has to say about any numerous of topics. But before we get to that, the first segment sponsor of Coffee Ann is the Carew Investment Group.
Integrity, trust, service. 3 words that sum up what you can expect from the Carew Investment Group at 2190 Mendon Road in Cumberland, Rhode Island. Established in 1987, we've been helping local investors to build wealth and guide them through their golden years of retirement using quality stocks of companies that you know, many of which pay quarterly dividends. We also use investment-grade bonds and low-cost exchange-traded funds. To find out more about our services and for a quality conservative approach to investing, call us at 765-8880. Integrity, trust, service. The Carew Investment Group. Securities offered through Bolton Global Capital, member FINRA and SIPC, and advisory services offered through Bolton Global Asset Management, a registered investment advisor.
All right, Coffee Ann here on ON Radio. Thanks for joining us. And comments and questions can be called in at 766-1240. Of course, the big story from last night is the Boston Celtics.
Yes, it is.
Now, did we all stay up to watch it?
Yeah.
Because it ended at 11.
Yeah.
I stayed. Well, I sort of. Yes,
Sort
I did.
of.
I saw
Okay,
the end.
okay.
I didn't see much of the game. I saw the last eighth of the game.
That's fine.
And I knew that I kept watching, of course,
Yeah.
and I could see that things were well in hand.
Oh, yeah.
And,
When they're up by 25.
yeah.
So things are looking good.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, but it was good to see. And
We
you
went
know,
You
back.
made
and-
it all the way to 11?
We did, and we went back and forth because we were watching the Red Sox.
It worked out well because the
And-
Red Sox ended at halftime.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
so
nice.
it was perfect.
And then we were we like the Olympics, so we were watching the trials.
Trials,
So
yeah,
they were
okay.
doing it. So it was like,
Back and
Dave's
forth,
very
yeah.
good at that.
Most men are.
Oh, makes me a little crazy, but we got to see everything.
Well,
And yes, we saw the Celtics. Yes,
I was doing
we
that
did.
as soon as the third out was made on the Red Sox. Over to
Boom.
the Celtics.
done.
Yeah.
And then they're in commercial. No!
I know.
I just
I-
want the score.
I tell you,
did.
if you're good enough to have people around you where you say, I don't want to know what's going on, to be able to record it, you know, even just stay 45 minutes behind,
Yeah.
and just zap those
Yeah.
commercials, which is what I should have done if I had
Yeah.
been on my game.
Yeah.
I would have recorded it and then come home from what I had to go to, and then watch the last half.
Yeah.
You know, just zap all those commercials. It's a wonderful thing.
You know things were good when there was about 2 or 3 seconds to go in the half, and the Celtics were inbounding it from their end,
Yeah.
and they got up to half court, in time for one shot before the buzzer, and it went in.
He keeps doing it. This guy.
Jaw dropped, and the garden exploded.
course.
He,
Yeah.
but he had done that
Yeah.
not that long
Yeah.
ago
Yeah.
in another playoff game.
what's his name?
Pritchard or something.
maybe that's okay.
I'm not sure. Anyway, because only a few games ago I had watched, and he banked one off the backboard
Yeah.
at the
At the buzzer?
Yeah.
half court off the backboard. I was like, you got to be kidding me.
I know.
And then I saw they did it last night, and they said, yeah, he kind of does this a
That's what he
lot.
does.
And I was like, really? That's probably why he's like, you talk about a role player. We only
Right.
put you in the last second. Now make it good.
Okay.
Your time to shine.
Did you see
Yeah.
the again? I can't remember the Celtics name. That got his got a bloody teeth, and he got his face smashed by accident into the ground, into the floor.
I didn't see that.
didn't see
I
it.
A
missed
man,
that.
bald-headed guy, beard.
You're talking about a player or a fan?
Player
A
for
player.
the player for the Celtics.
Okay.
Because they were down, and the guy for the Mavericks landed on the back of his head and just smashed his face.
Wow.
They go, "This is tough to watch," and they showed it. And it's like, and he came up and now he's bleeding.
Jeez, I
inside-
hope he has a
inside.
good. I hope he has a good dental plan.
But he, well, yeah,
Yeah,
they thought he was going to
right,
be,
yeah.
as I say in hockey terms, spitting up chiclets.
yeah.
But he went off. He
That's
went off,
true.
and the trainer worked on him, stopped the blood,
Yeah.
stopped the bleeding, got back in.
Of course.
Sure.
And I
Of
go,
course.
I'll fix my teeth in
Tomorrow
20
isn't it?
minutes.
Yeah,
Right, right.
yeah, not this minute.
Not right now. I'm not coming out right now. But what was also pretty cool, I mentioned this to Dave earlier, with about a minute and a half or so to go, minute and a half, 2 minutes, Kyrie Irving was taken out of the game,
Yes.
and he went down to the Celtics and congratulated each player.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it
I
was-
shook hands
Yeah.
It was
with every
classy,
coach.
yeah.
I said, well, very good. It's going to stop the people from booing you. This is what
Right.
it's doing. I said, but that was very nice
Yeah.
that he did that. Now, obviously, the game is over, and you guys have won. And what was also great about that means when there's like 45 seconds to 30 seconds to go, the game doesn't get dragged on for another 15 minutes because all the fouls start taking place.
Yeah. Yeah.
Both teams realize Celtics have won, we've lost. There's no reason to foul.
No.
Yeah.
Just dribble the ball.
Yeah.
And then a 24-second shot comes out, just take a shot. And
Yeah.
so no fouling at the end of the game, which is
Right.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
that moves it along. When you
It
finally,
did.
because like I said, I tuned in right about that time. Kyrie was going
Shaking
down
hands.
the bench, and I
Uh-huh.
thought, wow, I guess it is over. I mean,
Yeah.
and it was 20 points, but that's where it's like we've given up.
We've
we
given
know
up.
we,
That's it.
we know we can't come back.
If he's out of the game, that means our subs are coming in.
Yeah.
Same thing with the Celtics.
Yeah.
They took out Tatum and Brown and the Porzingis and all the big guys. Okay, all the subs. It's time for you to play. So you can say, hey, I played.
He
in the
played
NBA
in the
finals.
championship. Yes.
I even
you
got a
know,
shot off.
My next door
that's-
neighbor in Cumberland, I think it's her nephew. Is the tall? He's a role player, tall white guy. Is a red hair. He played for Marquette, and he's known, but not by me, obviously. I can't think of his name right now, but anyway. I'm so happy because she was so excited that the Celtics were going, and her nephew was going to be an NBA champ, and
Yeah.
and I know this because my daughter went to Marquette earlier, and she had gotten some stuff from him when I think he left Marquette early to
To
join
go
the Celtics,
NBA, okay.
and she had some of his Marquette gear, and she's like, does your daughter want my nephew's gear? And I was like, yeah, we'll take that. So she's got that gear now.
Nice.
But-
All right. Well, congratulations to the Celtics. It also
Yes.
puts them one step up on the Lakers of 18 NBA champions. So
Yes.
good for them. And good for Joe Mazzulla, Johnston native.
Yes. Huh?
Right down the road.
Wow.
It
Uh,
is
Rhode
really
Island guy.
that's quite a story,
It
Yeah.
sure is.
which
'cause-
I admit I did not know about until yesterday.
and
I
they
had-
showed it to you
Yeah.
on the broadcast.
Well, I read it in the journal.
assistant
actually,
coach at these colleges you've never heard of,
Yep.
and then assistant coach up in Maine
Yeah.
for their AAA team, and then,
Yeah.
now
Yeah.
he's down with the Celtics, and
It's
bang,
an-
now you're the head coach.
It's an incredible
Yeah.
story.
Yeah.
Interim, but obviously the players have to like you too, and the players must have
Yes.
spoken up saying,
We like this guy.
"We like this guy.
Yeah.
He's
And he knows
he's a
his
keeper, and
X's
he's
and
not.
O's.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And he's and so they hung in there, and here they go.
All right, well, very good. Moving on, last Friday was Flag Day, so how was the
Yeah.
ceremony?
It
at,
was
Senior
wonderful.
Center?
It was really, really, really wonderful. One of the best that we've had. We had about 100 people.
Yeah. Did the
Nice.
kids come down?
The
from school?
kids came down.
Great.
They walked down from Harris School,
Mm-hmm.
Mrs. Greco's third graders. They came down. We had 3 tables with the Vietnam vets,
Mm-hmm.
Chapter 818. And of course, we had the mayor and the city council
Mm-hmm.
there as well. They sponsored the lunch this year. And so Mike Hool came in with these balloons. The room was beautiful. The kids were thrilled.
Nice.
They did a nice job. They sang the national anthem. We
Nice.
had Father Phil. You must know Father Phil Sella, Silver Star
Yep.
recipient. He did
Yep.
the prayer before, non-denominational, to be
Of course.
politically, of course. But the kids sang the national anthem.
Okay.
And then I had asked the teacher if one of the students would lead the pledge, and usually I put them with the veteran because sometimes they get shy.
Shy, okay.
This young lady got up there on the mic and she did an
Belted it
awesome.
out?
She did
Oh
it.
yeah, she
Yeah.
did an awesome job.
Good.
And then they sang some more songs, and we did actually did the flag folding ceremony,
Mm-hmm.
which is kind of a solemn.
It's solemn,
It's
yeah.
very solemn, and we use 6 veterans and 6 students.
Oh,
We-
okay.
We have my husband's grandfather's interment flag that we use. It's
Mhm.
huge.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had Chris Beauchamp, your brother,
Mm-hmm.
and members of the council actually read. And then we had lunch. It was great, and they
Nice.
all got kids got a flag on the way out. and they marched back to Harris School singing "It's a Grand Old Flag."
That's nice. That's
It
really
was,
nice to
you
hear.
know, and you know, the kids were so they're so well mannered. Woonsocket's very lucky; they have very good teachers at. Well, I know at that school. Please, thank you. You know, very well mannered, excited. One of the little girls presented me with roses. I like, oh my God. But it was, yeah, it was a very special day. One of the, you know, it's one of the things that we do.
Yeah.
That's, yeah.
Whenever you can involve the kids.
We
at
involve
senior
the
center,
kids,
it's great.
and you know, and actually this year, the veterans were they're teaching them the proper way to treat a flag and how to
Yep,
fold
yep,
it. You
yep.
know, I
Which
bet a
is-
lot of adults don't know.
Yeah,
how to
no,
do.
you're right. And
Well, I was a Girl Scout, so I know how. But it was a lovely day. It was a great, great day.
Hot dogs for the kids?
Hot dogs for the
Oh, I
kids,
must have loved
and brownies with ice cream.
Oh, well,
very nice.
that's the way. That's the
That's
reason to go.
Oh yeah!
That's a-
Oh, they love coming down. They love coming down to
Yeah.
the senior center. They
Very
had said
nice.
one time, you know, we like going there because you know the people are old, but they like us. I said, well, they say it like it is, right?
Yeah,
Our
no,
moms
exactly,
and
That's
exactly.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the people
Yeah.
are old, but they like us. It's
Yeah.
true.
Well,
And they're happy to see us.
and they're happy to see
Of
us.
course.
They-
Which is a nice thing for a kid to
It is. It's a
when
very
you walk
nice-
into a room and the faces are all smiling and
Yeah.
you know, that's a great
It
thing.
was, yeah. It was, yeah. Actually, there was not a dry eye in the house. I mean, it was very, very heartwarming.
sweet, yeah.
Very heartwarming.
Very
Very
nice. That's
nice.
good.
Thank you for.
All right. Well, speaking about the city, you know, we had the mayor on last week, and he talked about the new audit firm that was coming in, and he couldn't give us the name.
The one the
At the
council
time-
hires, right?
Well, yes.
Yeah, the one the council hires, yeah.
Well, yeah.
That they don't know anything about.
But
That's interesting.
hang on for a minute, Tom. He couldn't mention the name of the firm because it wasn't quite official yet. Well, okay, and so John, your brother, was on yesterday as part of the Woonsocket City Council. I said, it looks like Chris Beauchamp is going to speak. Will he be naming the audit firm? He goes, I believe he's going to. So we didn't name it yesterday, and then about an hour or so later, we got the press release of saying who they have hired, and that they have appointed Markham LLP as its new independent auditor. And they said, okay. They got to seek city council approval for this appointment. Did they get it last night?
I don't know. I
No,
didn't
I
listen. I didn't. I was too
I don't know if
busy.
it was on the
Sure.
agenda.
Yeah.
Too busy with the
Too
Celtics.
right. I was the Celtics and the Red Sox and
It's your channel thing.
yeah.
Yeah. Tom, do you know anything about this company? From
Well,
all, and I
Markham
don't
is
know
a-
much. All I know is they're very good.
It's a very big national firm. I know
Okay.
there's a guy from the town, from the city. I'm not sure if he lives in the city, Dave Fontaine, who works with Markham. He's an accountant.
Yeah.
Markham is a big national firm, and you know, like a lot of accounting firms, they sort of gobble up a lot of smaller firms along the way and become a big thing. But they're very well thought of. I mean, Markham's a big, highly respected accounting
Okay.
firm.
Well, I'm glad they do have a local office in Providence, and I'm glad they got someone out of Rhode Island. I know John was worried that we might have to go out of state if no one applied for this, and it's like, oh, what a pain that'll be if you got to go down to like Washington D.C. or go down to North Carolina to find someone. So I'm glad they found someone in the state.
Yeah, I mean they've seen the letter from the people who left and their reasons for leaving, and
Yeah.
so you know you're walking into a bit of
firestorm.
a mess.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, not
putting
a
aside
firestorm.
aside the politics, just the
Yeah.
fact that we've asked you for 100 documents, you've given us 40 so far, and we're a year late or almost a year late. It's like, you know, it's a challenge. So
Yeah.
so
Well,
someone's
they
got
could
to
do it. So
well,
and straighten it out.
yeah, and I hope they can. I mean, because you know you need an audit. But
Yes,
That's
we
right.
do.
I mean,
The state
did they
requires
did
it.
they require audits back in your day
Yeah.
as
Oh,
administrator?
yeah. Yeah, we always had an
And
audit.
were they
Yeah.
were they a catastrophe or do you just get it
no,
done?
No,
It's
it,
the
it, it
catastrophe.
Just
no,
get it
was-
done.
It got done.
Yeah,
It
just
got-
get done. I
it-
asked John. I said, John, you were
Yeah.
finance director 16 years. Any drama? He goes, no drama.
no,
we
in
just
Lincoln. Yeah, you
we
just get it done.
you get it done.
You get it. You get it done.
Yeah. It's part of the job.
Okay.
Part of the job.
So they're going to take over, and so we'll see. Hopefully, things go smoother
I hope so.
in
Yeah.
the city of Woonsocket in terms of this. They got a big job ahead of them because they got to do past audits and then get up to this audit. So it's a lot of work to be done
That's a lot of
in
work.
a short amount of time. So
Yeah.
hopefully they can get it done quickly. All right, we're going to take our first break here in the Coffee Inn program, and the Carew Investment Group has been the sponsor of the first segment of Coffee Inn.
They say in business you don't last very long if you don't know what you're doing. And if that's the case, we must know a thing or two at the Carew Investment Group, because we've been in the business since 1987, helping people just like you with their investments. At the Carew Investment Group, we employ a conservative approach to client portfolios by using only the best quality companies available, many of which pay quarterly dividends. We look for opportunities that we expect to go up in value not every day, but over time. And we take our responsibilities seriously and always place our clients first in any investment decision. If you'd like to know more or would like a free portfolio review of your current holdings, you can call Paul or Ed at 765-8880. Our office is located at 2190 Mendon Road, Suite 3 in Cumberland, Rhode Island, and we'd love to meet you and see if we can help you with your investing journey. Securities offered through Bolton Global Capital, member FINRA and SIPC, and advisory services offered through Bolton Global Asset Management, a registered investment advisor.
Join us at the Honey Shop Academy and embark on a journey of discovery, healing, and creativity. Whether you seek solace in meditation, rejuvenation through sound, artistic expression through paint, or spiritual insights through cards, we invite you to explore, learn, and grow in our welcoming and nurturing space. Embrace the magic within and unlock your true potential at the Honey Shop Academy. Now, it's right in the same location as the Honey Shop store, actually another portion of the building, the former CMM picture frame. And here's what's coming up. You have to buy your tickets in advance. On Friday, the 21st of June, 6 to 8 p.m., it's paint night with Angela's Magical Palette. Then on Saturday the 22nd, from 10 in the morning till noon, it's Moon Energy Meditation. Join us for the meditational experience that aligns with the mystical energies of the moon, water, Reiki, and intuitive card readings. And then on Sunday the 23rd, at 2 sessions, 11 to 12 and 12:30 to 1:30, Healing Sounds Bath. At the Honey Shop Academy, the former CMM picture frame, same building as the Honey Shop store. Call 766-1488. That's 401-766-1488 for tickets, or purchase them from the Facebook event ticket link. The Honey Shop.
The Coffee Inn panel is enjoying coffee from Down East Coffee Roasters. All their coffee is roasted right here in Rhode Island. Down East Coffee Roasters is available at all Little General stores.
ON Radio.
It's Coffee Inn here on ONAM and FM. Thanks for joining us. This is Joe Callahan along with Linda Tebow, and Tom Ward has joined us. How's retirement, Tom?
It's been wonderful.
Good.
It's been, other
Supposed
than,
to be. So.
It has. It has. Well, I last year I had a bout of sciatica, which really kind of messed up last summer.
All right.
So that I have to, well, and then there was the pandemic. So maybe it hasn't been that great. I don't know.
Well, you didn't have to go into the office and put a newspaper.
I didn't
together,
have
so
to.
that
Right.
part was okay.
That part was decent. I do miss the people very much. I miss going into work,
Yeah.
and people say, "Do you miss it?" And I'm like, "Yeah." The part about going into work and doing that, the part about figuring out how to run a newspaper business in the internet age,
Yeah.
and all that kind of stuff, I don't miss worrying about that anymore. But first with the pandemic, and God love them, the new owners are great guys, and they got the paper through the pandemic, and kept everyone in place, which was huge, and in my view, huge. And everybody's working their hardest right now, and so I give them credit. But I after the pandemic, things got better. I started playing golf regularly, which I'd never done, and I actually got better. I was like, "Oh, this is how it's supposed to work."
Practice.
Practice.
You play every week and you get better.
Look at
Imagine
that.
that.
Yeah,
Now I'm
it
not
happens.
stronger. I'm still a wimp off the tee, but the rest was getting better. And I was
So
like,
your 12 strokes are down to
well,
10?
something like that. But it was just so eye-opening, because all I ever played, you hear about. I have this place in Florida, and
Yeah,
I would
you go with your brothers.
And I went with my brother. That was 5 days, and then during the summer, I only played a couple of times. and Chamber of Commerce and stuff. And so so it was good because as the pandemic was ending, I went to Chamawa, which is just down the street from me, and
It's in North Attleboro. In case you
yeah,
don't know.
yep. And I went there. There were people there, and I said, I said, I've never played in a league in my life. I said, is there any league? And she goes, oh yeah, there's an old men's league on Tuesday afternoon.
You said sign me up.
I'm like, that's
That's
what I'm
for
looking
me.
for. I said, yeah. I said, I'm not with part of any company or
Yeah,
these
it's
company
just-
leagues.
it's just you.
I said, it's just me. And they said, yeah, there's a bunch of old guys. They call themselves the Cotton Club. I don't know if that's about hair or what.
About
But
this.
is that what it is? Because
Well,
I knew there was
on
a
the west
cotton.
side,
Where was
on
the
the
Cotton
heat.
Club in New York or
It's at
Chicago or
it's in
something?
Harlem.
Harlem. Okay. So these old guys. And I'm like, well, I'm not that good. And they're like, oh, you fit right in.
Neither are they,
I said, all right. And it's only 9 holes because I babysit on Tuesdays. So
All right.
I went to my wife and I said, all right, you think I can sneak off at 2:30 in the afternoon on Tuesdays? She goes, yes.
9
To
holes.
play golf, 9 holes, right?
Okay.
9 holes, have a beer, go back home. And she's like, yeah, do it. And I was like, thank you. And so off I went, and I did that for 1 year. And then last year, I overworked in the yard in the springtime and gave myself sciatica, and it ruined my entire summer. I had to quit golf. I had to everything. It just ruined it. And but I took care of myself last fall, and sciatica typically, I mean, even the doctor said 3, 4, 5 months. It usually self-resolves, and just be patient. And,
That's a long time, though.
But oh yeah, I was wrecked the
Pain.
summer. So when I went back to Florida this year, which was really our first time that we were going for any amount of time this past winter, I was being easy on myself instead of trying to get in as many, because it's a bundled community. In other words, the golf is free. You pay you're a member of the club, and so it's free. So instead of doing 18s, I do an 18 and a 9 and 8. I try to go easy to make sure I didn't hurt myself again. And I didn't. And so I'm back golfing again this summer and enjoying it. I'll be golfing this afternoon. I'm still on the Mount St. Charles board of directors. And we'll have our last dinner tonight. So feast or famine. I have nothing to do most days, and now I got to finish my golf and run off to the Mount Board meeting, and and start the day at ON. I should have slept in today, buddy. Just letting you know. It's golf day.
What a guy.
But anyway,
Hey, there's
but
free-
mostly, like I
It's
said,
free
Monday,
coffee
Tuesday,
if you want it.
yeah, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday is the kids, and it's great having them. And of course, I know a lot of people know we lost one of our grandchildren this spring. And that was about as awful as life gets. But we got through that, and my beautiful daughter is getting through that.
Yeah.
She and my son-in-law. It's going to take a long time.
Mm-hmm.
But Ben was a beautiful boy and smart. And I know every grandchild, every grandparent talks about how accomplished their grandson or granddaughter is.
Sure.
But he was truly exceptional. He was smart to a fault. Just Legos. You'd buy him a $150 Lego thing, which was just like a stab in the heart. How expensive these things are.
He built a
And you
castle.
figure you'll build it over the weekend. No,
Yeah.
he'd build it in 3 hours. And it's like, oh, kid, come on.
No, I gotta figure it
it's
out.
like, let's smash this on the ground and do it again.
Start all over
Yeah.
again, right? Sure.
But he was very that way. But he was also, that whole left brain. He loved mathematics. He was the top of the class. The teachers loved him. The kids loved him. And he was only a third grader. And, the day he passed in the car accident, his dad was a skier, and they were up in Maine. And he had done that, I don't know, white heat run at Sunday River and stuff, which is like an adult thing. But he said, Dad, I want to do this. And he did it on the day he passed away. And he was accomplished in baseball, not so much in football and soccer. Those weren't his things, but baseball he was very good. And then golf he was coming along. Thankfully, the family had visited Disney for the first time, and we went up to be with them for a couple of days, and then they came down to our place in February vacation, and we had. As I said, it's a golf club, and so I had gone to we had 3 of our grandchildren down who are of the age where they could swing a golf club, and 3 all boys. And I said, to the club pro. I said, "Can I pay you for an hour to take these 3 kids and just teach them a little bit?" And he said, "Oh, absolutely, of course." So it made an appointment, and we all went down there, and I've got little videos of it. But he was hitting the ball straight and 100. He had golfed once or twice, and he was
Maybe you
hitting the
should have
ball.
taken the lesson too.
I told him, I said, if he starts hitting more than 125, I said, we got to shut this off because he's going to be, because we
Beating
were
you.
playing together that afternoon. His dad and himself and his other son, the younger son, and myself were doing a foursome, 9 holes, got like 4 in the afternoon. And I said, so don't make him too good because this is embarrassing. But the point is, he had a very natural stroke, and even the pro said to us, he said, "You need to pay attention to this kid." He said, "He's got
the
an
swing,
ability in
yeah.
the swing," and he said, "It's really something." And he said, "So just encourage him to golf." And
Yeah.
so we said, "Yeah,
That's-
we
wow, that's
kind of
great.
thought that." But alas,
All right.
God had other plans.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Alrighty, other things going on. We're starting our heat wave, our first heat wave of the season.
Yeah.
Basically starts today. It's
Uh-huh.
going to last for the rest of the week. Because of that, down in Providence, they're opening up cooling centers and like that. And so right here in the city of Woonsocket, of course, the splash pad will be up and running.
Yeah.
Good.
Very important note that's been running for at least a week now, possibly even a little more. But everything is good over there. So if you need some place to come and cool off the kids, the splash pad at the World War II Park is
It is. It's great.
place to come.
We've,
and it's
we've
free.
it attracts
So-
Cumberland people with their grandkids. I can tell you that.
Yeah,
there you go.
We've gone down there and with the grandkids.
The kids like it?
enjoy. Oh, they love it.
Yeah.
They love it.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, they keep making rumblings in Cumberland.
To build one?
Maybe I shouldn't say this, but I the Diamond Hill, and I said
That'd be
I call the mayor.
perfect
No,
place
it wouldn't
for
be
it.
perfect.
Why
I said
n- yes,
no, I don't want it in Diamond Hill. You know
Why?
why? Bunch of rich people. Sorry, it's North Cumberland.
Well,
and-
that's true.
and I
Yeah.
said to the mayor, I said, look, I'm just one guy now, and I don't
Yeah.
count for beans. But I said, I can think of 2 or 3 completely underused baseball fields. Completely underused baseball fields in the south end of town. I said, you've got an underused baseball field it's about the right size.
right on High
With
Street.
right on High Street at the Valley Falls Fire
the fire station. Okay, I
Exactly.
know
You
exactly
got a
where it
fire
is.
station next
Yep.
door. You could put a splash pad with parking for 30 or 40. There are sidewalks. I said, most importantly, there are sidewalks everywhere, so the local kids in that section of town can get on their
walk.
bicycles or walk.
Now, you're talking about
Say-
getting rid of the baseball field there and
Yeah.
replacing it?
That's what I would
Yeah.
do. Yeah.
Okay.
If I were Pope, it's like. if
It
I were the
seems like a
dictator.
lot of the fields aren't being used.
They
like
aren't.
They do,
Baseball-
They have too many other, not too many. Lots of other sports that they can do.
Right. It
Yeah.
drives me crazy about baseball because again, I go back to when I was a kid. Well, that was 60 years ago.
That's-
Nobody does it anymore. If we had one in our neighborhood, which we did, Lamoureux
Yeah.
Field on Aylesworth Avenue,
You went
you
down
got
to the
7 or
baseball
8
field.
guys and you were there all day.
Right.
You
Yeah.
brought your canteen from Boy
Yes.
Scouts for the water.
Yeah.
No kid does that
No.
anymore.
No.
No.
And so I hate to say it, but in the case of that field, yeah, it's
Yeah.
used for 2 months.
And that's
And then you'll never see a kid on that
Right.
field the rest of the year.
Yeah.
And then I hate to say it again, sometimes the baseball leadership is like, "Oh yeah, but we really need that field." It's like, you know what? Enough. I don't want to
Yeah.
hear it. It's like we're going to utilize that field for something more
Right.
important. And as I told Mayor Mutter, although he had some other ideas about,
Other
maybe
places?
Hope Global, maybe someday there'll be a park down there and stuff, and you're on the bike path and stuff. And I said, you know
okay.
what, Mayor, that's fine. You check it out. You do your research. I said, but please don't put it in Diamond Hill. I said, it's just
the people from
They're
South
right.
Cumberland will not come.
they'll never come.
That's right.
They'll never
It's
come.
just-
The
it's
kids
too
who
far.
need it the most will
Will never
never
use it.
ever use it.
Yeah.
And
You're right.
and I hate to say it, but the moms who are blessed by not working and stuff, and they'll be dropping their kids off and stuff, as they should. But the other thing is Diamond Hill Road, dangerous road, no sidewalks.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is not the place to put it. I said,
Yeah.
you want to put it where the kids are, where there's sidewalks,
Yeah.
and where
And now that I
It's a-
think of
it's
it,
a-
it's an accident waiting to happen there because people will be crossing the street,
Right.
which they already do, to get to
Right.
the ice cream machine.
Yeah.
right.
And now you're gonna have kids crossing the street,
Yeah.
Right.
Ice
to
cream
get
machine,
there.
Right.
So
which
it's
should be,
it's
it'd be a
it's
nice
tricky.
boost for their business, but
yeah.
there's
But
a
I
safety
have to
issue.
say, compared to, in the old days, they put pools in, and they don't do pools anymore. These things, Woonsocket's is a treasure. It really is. And,
It is,
and,
yeah.
and there's a lot of kids there. And then they feed the kids down there. They get sandwiches.
Oh yeah, they do.
Yeah,
That's
they
right.
do.
It's a
Yeah, they do.
under
Yeah.
low income thing.
Yep.
What they do
Yeah.
for that. All right, we're going to take a break here in the Coffee and program, and more coming your way. It's time for a look at the forecast, which is being brought to you by Bank of America.
Mostly sunny skies today with a high of 91 degrees. Tonight, partly cloudy, overnight low of 67. Wednesday's weather, mostly sunny and 91. Thursday, sunshine and 94. Friday, sunshine with a chance of a shower, partly sunny with a high of 91. Saturday, partly sunny and 84. Sunday, mostly cloudy and 82. And on Monday, partly sunny skies, high of 85.
Currently outside the Navigant Credit Union, hold on, Tom. Currently outside the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Ave and Kennedy Street with sunny skies. We're up to 81 degrees. Bank of America has powerful digital solutions for local and global businesses, so you can make every move matter. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. Bank of America, N.A., copyright 2024.
You know, when you're paying the right price for protection, you just know it. It's that warm, fuzzy, totally secure feeling, knowing that you're not only getting great coverage, but you're also not paying too much for it. And when it comes to your insurance, there's no one better at getting the right price for your protection than Allstate agents Kara and Celeste Benjamin, because they know when it comes to your bank account, every penny counts towards something bigger, something better. Like a nicer car, that home update you've been dreaming of, or a phone that's fresh out of the box. Those little or big things that we work so hard for. And Kara and Celeste Benjamin want to help you work a little less by getting you the coverage you need and the savings you deserve when you switch to Allstate. Contact Kara and Celeste Benjamin at the Benjamin Agency. One agency, two locations in North Smithfield and Bellingham. 765-5000 for a free quote today. Allstate, you're in good hands. And you're in good hands with Kara and Celeste Benjamin at the Benjamin Agency. Savings vary based on the average annual savings reported by new auto customers surveyed in 2019 who switched to Allstate.
At the turn of this century, 27% of people who passed away were cremated. By the year 2020, that figure rose to 56%. The Cremation Association of America projects that by the year 2040, 4 out of 5 Americans will choose cremation over a casket burial. Berarducci Funeral Home and Cremation Care Center of Woonsocket can answer your questions about the cremation process. Go online to providencecremation.com. Berarducci Funeral Home and Cremation Care Center on Spring Street, Woonsocket. Let them create the perfect service for your loved one. Berarducci Funeral Home and Cremation Care Center. It is Coffee In here on ON Radio. Thanks for joining us. Joe Callahan here, along with Tom Ward, who's joined us, and Linda Tebow is here. And not to get Tom going too much on government, but the governor, Dan McKee, did sign the state's fiscal 2025 budget. Nearly $14 billion is what the budget is. You happy with this, Tom?
I don't. I honestly can't. I can't say I'm familiar with too many of the
too much is in
details.
it? Okay.
There are some things I don't even know if they passed. There was one thing there's only one thing I wrote to my legislator about, and didn't hear back because that's how I know now that I'm nobody. It's like, Tom, go back to your room.
Tom who?
Tom who? But it was something about. They wanted to have a pension plan where every Rhode Islander could get in and start a pension plan. I'm on board. Whatever. And they were going to encourage or somehow grease the skids on this. And maybe I don't understand it, but I wrote to him and I said, everybody can start a pension plan now, right?
Yes.
Everyone can start an IRA.
need-
You don't need the state.
Government, yeah.
And so I said, my cynical side says you're going to get the state involved, and there's going to be managers for it, and they're all going to be sticking their finger in the pie, taking an advisory fee. And I said, you don't need any of this. I said, you need people encouraged to put their $2,000 or $2,500 a year into an IRA, throw it in the S&P 500 with a minuscule management fee, and never look back. And then look at it at 65 and say, well, looky here.
Well, look what I got.
I got $300,000.
Yeah.
And I said, you don't need anybody to manage it. You don't need the state sticking their finger in the pie, which is, I said, I'm cynical, but it's like, that's what's going to happen here. We all know this. And didn't hear back. But I don't know, honestly, I don't know if it passed. And so maybe somebody out there knows, or a General Assembly.
Yeah, that talked about in the
Yeah, I don't think it did because I never
No,
heard
I
it
didn't hear
again.
that,
It was
no.
just
There was talk about the pensions, but just people that are on state pensions.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
Kelly
I'm not
Coles
crazy
and
about
that.
the way they handled that, but
I'm not
that's no
either,
surprise.
But that's why we have people like Ed Carew.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Go
That's
give
right.
Ed
Exactly.
$2,000.
Right, yeah.
And he'll manage it.
Stay out of his
for
way.
you.
Just stay out of his way.
And say,
And-
and he'll update you on what he's doing.
Yeah, of course.
But not monthly. You'll get your statements
It's a
and
statement.
watch it. Okay,
when
sometimes
you
it
hear
goes
the
down,
stock
but
market's
like-
doing bad, just don't look at the statements.
Don't
Just
look
put-
at it.
Just
That's
put
the
it in the
thing.
shredder.
That's
I
right.
think people get all in a twivit when
They
they,
do.
say,
Oh, I've
"Oh
lost
my
money."
God, it went down." Yeah, but this
Yeah,
is
but don't
not
worry
for
about it.
now. This
Yeah.
is for
later.
know
Right.
later.
Right,
you know?
right, and it only goes down, really down, 10% of the time.
Yeah, but
it's
then
scary
it comes
when
back
it
up
does.
again. But
Yeah.
it comes back
But
up
then it
again.
goes back
yeah,
up. Yeah.
it is.
All right, other things going on in up in Massachusetts. Remember when those three, two guys actually killed Whitey Bulger in prison?
Yeah.
Well, there was a third guy, and someone has to be the lookout, and he was the lookout.
He was a lookout.
And look out for other guards. And so one of three men convicted in the prison killing of Whitey. He's been sentenced to time served and released because he pled guilty. He's been released. Sean McKinnon was accused of serving as the lookout as the two other inmates with ties to the mafia beat Bulger to death in West Virginia. 38-year-old Sean McKinnon is a native of Vermont, pleaded guilty to lying to the FBI in connection with the case. McKinnon is expected to move to Florida, where he previously lived with his mother. So,
Interesting.
pretty sweet deal.
Sorry.
Yes, I did it. Okay.
So as a
you
lookout,
can-
and you get released.
you're out.
Okay. Well,
Wow.
maybe he wasn't there for anything big to begin with. I don't know.
Yeah, so
I-
he'd already served
Yeah.
his time, and
Yeah.
whatever judgment he said, well, we're going to tack on another
And it
3
might,
months.
It might be that he's
he didn't
honestly,
do
it's just he's
anything.
not a threat to
not a
society.
real threat.
So
Yeah.
it's like let him go.
And you've been in here an extra 6 months. Okay, all right, you're done.
Time served.
Time
Yeah.
serves, sir, and we'll
And by the
see you
way,
then.
we really don't want taxpayers to have to pay for you any longer.
Well,
Go back to
this
mom.
we have to feed you. Right.
and house you and
Yeah.
clothe you and all that other fun
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
So I don't know if you heard this happened in my town where a person was shot, not killed, but shot at the public safety building,
No.
right where the police and the fire
Yes,
department
I did see
No,
that.
I
on
did
the
not
news.
hear
Yes.
that, no.
I saw that
they
on
were
the-
driving in.
Another reason Woonsocket shouldn't have one.
They were driving in, and another
kidding.
car came along and shot at them.
Oh my God!
And I think they actually hit him.
Can
but
you
didn't,
imagine the
the gall?
call?
But I'm
Thank
like-
you. Good word.
And I'm like, now I'm reading the story. I go, well, he must be from out of town, but he's not. There's cameras all over the place. Obviously,
Right.
you're at the public safety.
Yeah.
Right.
So they captured his license plate. They went and picked him up about 2 miles away at his house in Mansfield.
That's what I mean. How do you
I'm
not
like, what
think
are
there's
you-
cameras everywhere?
What are you thinking?
Right. I just don't get it. How you? Well, I'll get them at the public safety. There's probably no cameras there.
Yeah,
It's like,
right.
what are you
They'll,
crazy?
They'll never think of a shooting at the police station. And I think the person actually walked into the police. I've been shot.
Oh my God! Wow.
So yeah, that was crazy, but they got him. So another crazy story that was in Massachusetts yesterday. This was on Interstate 93 in Dorchester. The school bus caught on fire, and they were on 93,
Wow.
and 4 students were hospitalized. They don't say why, but 4 students taken to the hospital treatment of smoke inhalation.
Okay.
All right, let's
Yeah,
get
fires happen fast, and
Yeah.
a bus
Yeah.
can be pretty big if it's loaded with kids.
And I
so
saw
that's,
at the
that's
back.
a lot
It
of kids
looked
to get
like
off.
the back of the bus
Yeah.
Yeah.
was on fire.
Yeah.
So,
So
you
they
can't
probably
go out
couldn't go out the
You can't go out the
back.
back.
That's
So everyone's out the
emergency
front. Now you got to
exit.
wait for everybody.
Right,
So
right,
you don't trip
right.
anybody.
Yeah.
They were returning to school from a field trip when the bus began to emit smoke.
Oh.
Pretty scary. Doesn't say anything about adults. Just the 4 students were hospitalized after the bus caught fire. Josiah Quincy Upper School is the name of the school.
Well, thankfully, it wasn't worse than that.
No, that's right. So, all right. Let's see. Other things.
Bad
going-
breaks.
And because it's so hot, Worcester is not following what Boston did today. Worcester looked at it and they said, this is the last week of school. And they said, forget it. It's going to be so hot. We have
Yeah.
no AC in the
Early-
schools.
everybody
early
go home.
release,
School's
yeah.
done.
School's
Yeah.
done. That's
Especially in the high school, final exams have already been taken.
graduation. happened.
Graduation has already happened.
Yeah.
The little ones, the elementary school and middle school, well, you're done
Yeah,
learning
we've already
anyway.
we've
Yeah.
already finished what we're finishing here.
Yeah,
It's
we're not learning
it's
anything
just those
new.
last few days of playtime, and
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
go home.
I actually work with another guy that he's like a
Come to the Woonsocket Splash Pad if your kids don't know
he's
what to
a
do.
he's a phys ed assistant
Yeah.
teacher thing somewhere in Massachusetts. And I said, "What do you do with that last week with the kids?" "Oh, a lot of busy work."
Yeah.
And
I mean,
so-
ask every teacher. It was probably tough because
oh yeah,
you had these days and you had already put in your field day or whatever you had
Right.
to do.
That's right.
and
You already
so-
had your fun.
So it's like, what do we do now? The kids are tuned out,
Yeah.
and they're ready to go home. And
You can do this in high school. Well, you're not supposed to, but you can do this in high school. Probably not in the lower schools. But when I was in high school, and I think the statute of limitations gone out, I'm sure the teacher has retired by now. We had a math teacher. He came and played cards with us. Now, not for money,
oh
but we played high-low jack.
yeah,
And
it's
he
not
just
the
told the
worst
others-
idea in the world.
No,
It really
And
isn't.
the other kids, they
It's-
did what they want to do,
Yeah.
but there were 4 or 5 of us. We played high-low jack, and he was good. Oh
Yeah.
my god! I learned never play cards with a math teacher. Oh my god!
Counting cards.
He's counting
counting
cards.
cards. He knew what everybody had
Yeah.
and what was in the deck. I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't know how you do it.
How do you do
Yeah.
that?
It's
Yeah.
beyond
Well, this
me,
is
but yeah,
amazing.
they're good at it. Yeah.
So yeah, never play cards
Yeah.
with a
No, it's true, but
math teacher.
But it's just little addition. I mean, there is something to playing cards. You get a little bit of
Well, that's-
addition skills and subtraction skills.
I
or,
remember
you
my
know.
kids when they were little. My mother played cards with them all the time, and
Yeah.
they learned
Yeah.
their numbers and
Yeah.
adding
Yeah.
and everything.
Yeah.
So and for
Yeah, of
older
course.
people,
Yeah.
it keeps your brain working.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
a little brain aerobics going.
Well, you should.
so it is
Your
good.
daughter's still assistant principal.
No, she's not. She's left
Oh, she left education. Okay.
Yeah.
You should ask her sometime. What is the thinking that card playing is bad in school? If you can put gambling to the side,
They
is
can't.
this- is- you
They
can't.
can't.
It has
They-
to-
in their
it's-
minds, I'm
that's
sure
what it
that's
is.
what it is. It's just no, you can't. It's going to lead to this or that, the other thing.
Well-
Meanwhile, they're legally smoking pot. So I mean, it's like try to figure this out. I'm done. I'm done.
It's not that we've legalized online betting. That's okay.
That yeah, right.
That's okay.
Because that you're right. That's another one where it's like, I mean, listen, I shouldn't have thought this. We mentioned we'll go back to the Celtics for a minute.
All right.
One of the problems with all this legal gambling now is going to be that there are going to be moments where you're going to think, the Chicago Black Stockings and
Yeah.
Shula's Joe, because, and I thought of it the other day, and it was completely unfair, I'm sure, but when the Celtics are 3-0 and just walking away with it and the best team, and then they get slaughtered in Game 4, it's going to cross your mind.
Is it?
It's
fixed?
like,
Is it fixed?
did somebody throw this game
Yeah.
for whatever reason?
Yeah.
And because how else could you? I mean, they got slaughtered. And actually, if you throw in the game, it seems the best way is to not get slaughtered, right?
Well,
so
yeah,
that's
they
what
keep it close.
So generally, I'm dismissive of it. I don't think that's what happened. But this is the problem now with betting: is now we're going to start to think these things, and eventually, it's going to be happening more and thought of more, and then it's going to really put a dent in, or eventually perhaps ruin sports, which you'd never want to do. But it was the first thing I thought of the other day. It's like, oh my God, they're not throwing it, are they? Because there's so much money going around out there with DraftKings and FanDuel and all the rest of these things. and again, no one's going to talk about it, but after 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 of these incidents where they're going to line up, some sports writer's going to line them up and say, wait a minute, what's going on here?
Let's
That
do a
was
little
such
investigating,
that
yeah.
was such an odd thing to happen in Game
Yeah.
4. I mean, how could the Celtics have been that out of it? But here you are, and that worries me because as the gambling kicked in, I remember thinking, oh my God, there's going to be so many things that people are going to start to have doubts about, and was that legit? And that's what I worry about. And when I saw that Game 4, I was like, oh boy, someone's going to be talking about this, and it's not good for basketball. It's not good.
We
for
were
anyone.
talking about that earlier.
Oh, yeah, always up for good conspiracy theories.
Sure, because
Conspiracy, yeah.
why
Yeah.
wouldn't you think that?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because it
Yeah.
was just so
Yeah.
weird. It was just
Yeah.
and then last night
Well,
they decided
this
to beat
whole
the Celtics again.
online
Yeah.
gambling is just when it was like they had found a cure to cancer. They were so excited that this was legal now.
Right.
I mean, you've got more people losing their
Addicted.
houses
Yes.
or whatever.
Yes.
You know, come
All
on.
bad. All
You know,
bad. The outcomes are all bad.
All bad.
And it, well, that's part of my distrust of government generally is that the need for more money all the time. We can spend our money better than you can. Trust us. And so
Bingo.
we have to keep taxing you because we're so smart. And you,
Yeah,
you know,
you
I don't know
know,
about you.
right.
And so now we've come to this, but you know the I understand about medicinal marijuana. I do. I don't understand about recreational marijuana with young people getting it and thinking this is a good idea. This is a stupid idea, and
The genie's already out of the bottle.
of
You'll
course
ne-
it
you'll
is.
never get
Of
back
course
in.
it is. But then they thought they were going to make all this revenue, and it's like, well, you know, the cartels aren't going to compete against us anymore. It's like, what are you, stupid? Of course they're going to keep. They're going to try to. They're going to
Lower their
undercut
price.
you on price, and they're going to keep competing, and they're going to keep their share of the market.
Yeah.
And so now they've got places in California, centers that these people thought they were going to make all this money. They're closing. They're like there are growth places where they grow them,
Yeah.
closing, because it's like the cartels never quit. Who didn't see that coming? You know,
But the good news is, Tom, is Martha's Vineyard will be able to get marijuana.
Yes, they can get it. Did you see that?
Yes,
I did.
Well, the deal was, this is so funny.
Yeah.
There's a place on Martha's Vineyard and a place in Nantucket, and the one on Martha's Vineyard closed in May. They ran out of marijuana.
Okay.
The one in Nantucket was going to run out in September, but they were growing theirs.
Yeah,
So
okay.
they still had a supply. But the rule, or the law was, you can't transport marijuana over the water. So you couldn't fly it in, you couldn't boat it in. Well, to get around that, back to money, the Massachusetts legislature put an executive order in. Okay, you can do this.
Yeah.
And because the dispensary there in Martha's Vineyard said, "Hey, summer's starting,
We've got summer's here and we're dry.
and we've got nothing, and everyone's coming."
Well, yeah, and that's the part where it doesn't bug me about marijuana. If it's a bunch of old boomers out there and they're doing the Jimmy Buffett thing, I don't really care that much. I mean,
But it's not that,
But it's
just
not.
that.
And that's the thing is it's about young people and there's evidence that they lose ambition and they just they get into this place where you don't want to be, and it's like, what are we doing? What are we doing?
All right, another break coming up right here on Coffee and 766-1240 for comments and questions if you have any.
I love our Rhode Island shoreline, but our location makes us vulnerable to hurricanes and tropical storms. It's important to be prepared as best we can before the storm hits. You can help by knowing your risks, getting flood insurance, and being familiar with your evacuation route. Let's all do our part to be hurricane strong. The steps we take today can help minimize damage tomorrow. Learn more at riema.ri.gov.
Brought to you by Governor Dan McKee and the Rhode Island Broadcasters Association.
Hi, all parrot heads. I'm Joe Callahan, the maitre d' inside the Tiki Bar. Heard every Saturday at noon on ON Radio. It's 1 full hour of Jimmy Buffett music. Get out your Hawaiian shirt, grass skirt, grab your favorite beverage, and get ready to keep the party going. Thanks to our Tiki Bar sponsors, Attorney Bob Lauder, the Carew Investment Group, Pepin Lumber, and Coletta's Furniture. The Tiki Bar, every Saturday at noon on ON Radio, 1240 AM, 99.5 FM, and streaming online at OneSocketRadio.com.
You can depend on us for public service. ON Radio.
It's Coffee and on ON Radio. Thanks for joining us. This is Joe Callahan. Tom Ward has joined us, and we're also here with Linda Tebow. And it happens in Massachusetts, same thing that happens in Rhode Island. Applications are now available online to get the low number plate in Massachusetts. And I don't know why this is a big thing in Rhode Island. I don't know why it's a big thing in Massachusetts either. But you got to have a lottery because so many people want to do this.
Yep.
The Registry of Motor Vehicles said there are now 298 plates available this year. Applications will be accepted through August 16th. No paper applications, and winners will be announced on the registry's website. And I love it. It says you have to go to, if you're in Mass and you want one of these, you got to go to mass.gov/myrmv. And I have to go to that website. I have to update my license or registration, and that's a lot of fun to circumnavigate that website.
So what do you have to do?
Best of luck.
Put in for a lottery or something? to
Put
try
your
to
name
get
and
one?
address in, and we have 298 plates with the low number,
Yep.
and we'll see how many applications we get. It doesn't say anything about cost. I'm sure it must cost.
Not necessarily.
No?
They
Okay.
might just say, I
No.
mean, you're going to have to pay for the
Well, whatever you
actually
pay,
don't.
yeah.
We don't
Yeah.
pay. My wife
Yeah.
has one, and it's a 4-digit, and it came from her grandfather who got it in 1921. And
of the
so
first.
it passed. He was one of the first. It was
Yeah.
just a plate, nothing special. But it got down to his daughter, my wife's grandmother, didn't want it. She didn't care, and so he was finally giving up his car, and Carol was like, "Well, then I'll take it," because she was the oldest grandchild, and she took it, and we've had it for I don't know 30 or 40 years now, and now we have to go through this. It's like, okay, so who's going to stay in Rhode Island? Like, I have a daughter. She's like, I'm not sure. I may. He's with CBS Corporate, and she's like, we may wind up in the Carolinas or something like that. You don't get the plate.
No. Right, yeah.
My son has bought a home in Cumberland, and I think he's settled.
Well,
and it's
oh,
like,
he's in
okay,
Co-
you're
he
the
gets-
yeah. The
You're in
other
the
the
running.
first two are in Massachusetts. So I'm like,
All
you're
right.
out.
Yeah.
So I said, we're already down to number 4, last call. I said, you'd have to stay in Rhode Island, and
Yeah, see, I can see it for that. Like my husband has his father's plate. For it, one letter, 3, and
yeah, yeah.
and it means something.
yeah. It's it does it doesn't.
But other than that, I don't care.
It's like it's a license plate,
It's
but
a plate.
but you don't pay extra
Yeah,
for
no,
the
I don't.
4-digit.
No.
And
I don't know, is it just a status thing?
it is.
Okay.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have a
Ooh, okay.
3-digit, God bless you. You're,
Really?
Oh,
You're
you
in
must be
red?
very
you're in
important.
high cotton here in Rhode Island. But the 3 digits were the best. You don't even see many of them, and there's only 1,000 anyway. And then there's 4-digit. 4-digit are sort of like the regular man's
All right.
special plate.
The poor
is the
man's.
4-digit. The poor man's special plate, right? And you just but you have to pass them down. You have to go through the headache of going to the registry saying, I want my son to have it, blah, 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 all the paperwork. And you have to go through it. So my wife knows. I said, if any of us bite the dust,
that's so funny.
we have to go take care of this and get this to my
in the
25-year-old
will?
son right away. I don't think you can put it in the will. I think the
who
state,
who gets
if
the
you
plate,
don't, the
really?
state just gets it
Takes it,
back.
yeah.
And that's what happens here is people die.
All right.
And nobody's worked on a transfer, and so it goes back to the state. And now Rhode Island does the same thing. They don't just hand them out anymore. They used to just hand them
Yeah.
out. People thought they hit the jackpot. Now they put them in a box, and then they have a special lottery later, once a year or something.
I remember going to the registry in Massachusetts one time. I had to register a new car, and now they're there to get a plate. And you were in a special room, and they just turned around. There was just a big
Yeah.
cardboard box.
Pull
and
it out.
They went, but they showed it to me and said, "Is this okay?
Yeah.
Is this okay? I don't care what it
That's okay.
says."
Yeah, right.
What
Well,
do I care
I
what
mean,
it says?
back when I was a kid, I did ask him because I was the same thing in the box, and they were lined up.
Yeah.
And I was like, "You got any TWs?" And they're like, no.
No.
I said, "All right, then fine. Then I don't care."
My dad used to do that too with his
But
initials.
my brother worked for the state, of course, so they're the gilded class here in Rhode Island, so he would say to me, "Well, if you really want one," I was like, "It's not that big a deal." And he goes, "Well, if you really want one,
I know people.
I can put in and
Oh.
and I can wait, and then you just come down and get it." But nothing like a 4-digit or any of that. But he's like, "I can get you a TW something. Eventually, something will come up."
Yeah.
And I was like, "It's not that important. I didn't care." The one I regret, because I was naturally not a showy guy.
All right.
I was a big believer in modesty, and so, but I got for marketing purposes, I got Breeze, BREEZE.
sure.
All right.
When we started the paper, it was available. I took it, but then as the paper sort of took off, and it was about 4 or 5 years in, I was like, I don't want to be this showy. I'm going to get rid of it. So somebody else has it now. We've seen it. It's out. Somebody else took it, which I understand. I regret doing that.
Do
I
you?
wish I
You wish you
kept
kept
it.
it?
I wish I
All
just kept it.
All right. Other things that, well, you can do it in mass now if you want the whole plate number. Anyway, other things going on. A new record was set. Country music star George Strait. I've heard of him.
Yeah,
I can't
yeah.
mention a song.
Yeah.
But he's now the holder of a very impressive record. He had a concert Saturday night at Kyle Field in College Station, Texas. It drew a crowd of 110,905
Wow.
ticket-buying fans. This is better than Taylor Swift.
Well,
That's
he's-
that's better than
That's the
Donald
most.
Trump. Donald Trump had that many for free.
That's the most tickets sold for any concert in U.S. history.
That's amazing.
So he's got.
Where was it? Where was this held? College Station?
College Station, Texas, at Kyle Field.
I was gonna say it must be their stadium.
It must be.
It must be Texas Longhorn Stadium.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Now the previous record was set nearly 47 years ago, in 1977, by the Grateful Dead in a show in New Jersey. Straight also topped.
But that was different. That was a bunch of stone people just showed up, and then they it wasn't really for a concert. I'm just kidding.
Straight also topped the largest attendance at a home Texas A&M football team. The Aggies' attendance record at Kyle Field
Oh.
is
Oh, there we go.
110,663 fans at a home loss to Ole Miss in October of 2014.
See how much I know? So it's Texas A&M. It
Texas
is not the
A&M,
Texas
not the
Longhorns.
Longhorns.
College Station is Texas A&M. The
And them
Aggies.
fighting words down there. You get the
Oh.
colleges mixed up.
Yeah.
Get it right. Get it right.
That's not the Longhorn. All right, and we heard this yesterday. There was an amusement park ride out in Oregon. Got stuck.
Ooh.
28 people upside down, 50 feet in the air.
Cool.
Wow.
Now they
Well, there's a thrill ride.
the ride is. Do I have what it's called? It's called the Atmosphere ride.
Yeah,
and they
Atmosphere,
have they have something like it at Six Flags out in Springfield. If you want to go take a look at it, and what it is, it's a very large wheel. It's
Yeah.
a very large circle where everybody sits on it.
Okay.
But then this thing swings back and forth like a pendulum.
Yeah.
But it also spins
Oh,
at the same
Oh.
time.
I'm out.
And so
sounds like the
this-
Vomit Comet.
Well, it is. It's the
Yeah.
only ride I've seen where where the workers are,
Yeah.
they have a hose ready to go,
Oh yeah.
and there's a drain right there just in
Oh,
case.
yeah.
So anyway,
Wow.
so the thing swings
That's
like
gotta
a
be
pendulum.
pleasant when it's 95 degrees, huh?
Yeah,
It swings
yeah.
like a pendulum, but it also goes upside down. It will go
Oh.
all the way around, obviously, because these people got stuck
They
at
were
the top.
They
At
were
the
upside-
top.
Yeah, I
Upside
saw.
down.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Yeah.
that's a long wait. When
It's a
you're-
long wait.
Wow.
It's a wait of about a half an hour, because you
Wow.
someone's got to notice it. Then you got to call the people there. Then you got to call 911. You got to get the fire department to come and get out there.
It doesn't take long to notice. The next
No,
guy
well,
in
that's
line
true.
is like, I think they're stuck. You know.
That didn't come down.
Yeah,
but they had to get the park staff members. They had to lower the riders safely to the ground by hand.
Wow.
You know, with the cranks.
That's
You gotta go-
scary. That'd be
Yeah,
the
you-
scary
Yeah,
part.
that's
It's
right.
like,
You
can I
have to
just
go-
hang here the rest of my
We
life?
got to go
Yeah.
You're
real
gonna.
slow.
Wow.
They did take. They did say they took one person to the hospital. They had a pre-existing medical condition, but they don't say what it is. They took that person to the hospital as a precaution.
They don't have a pre-existing medical condition anymore. They died. They had a heart attack. I mean, oh my God.
So they're still
That's-
trying to figure out what the problem was, of why it got stuck at the top.
I'm sure it's closed for a while.
Oh, it'll be closed for a while. All right. I
So
don't know.
whereabouts in Oregon did it say?
Portland.
Oh, Portland. Okay.
Outside Portland.
Yeah.
So Oaks Amusement Park, if you want to go.
Well, I'm going there. That's why I asked.
Oh, okay.
We're going through Portland. I won't
All
stay
right.
there.
Don't go to
and,
the Atmosphere
and I won't be going.
ride.
That's like we'll know to avoid that. Actually, I can tell you, I would have seen it and said, "No, we're not.
Not doing that.
Where's the carousel?"
My daughter and her cousin went on this exact ride,
Really?
and they loved it.
Yeah.
And they thought it was
In
great.
Portland or
No,
somewhere
in Six
nearby?
Flags.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
it
Six
has
Flags
has the same
okay.
ride.
Yeah, yeah.
And they went on. They thought it was great. And,
Yeah.
they could handle it and had no issues with it. And I'm a very self-aware man, and I know exactly. I'd be sick immediately.
Yeah.
Where are
I
your
would-
limits?
That's right. I know exactly where it is, and that isn't it.
No, motion
Going in that is like,
sickness.
nope,
Yeah.
I don't think so. I don't know if you like this, but I'm always fascinated with the professional magicians, but I'm always thrilled when they explain the joke. Not the joke. They explain the trick
The
of
trick,
actually how
yeah.
they do it.
Yeah.
And so there's a magician in Vegas. He has headlined in Vegas for 22 years, and now he's seeing a new level of success after exposing some of the secrets of magic. Early this month, Murray Sawchuk resigned from the Magic Castle in the International Brotherhood of Magicians. In February, he faced backlash after posting several online skits showing how magic tricks are done. He was accused of violating organizational bylaws prohibiting the exposure of magic. The Las Vegas Review-Journal reports since the controversy started, Sawchuk has been charging about 4 times his old appearance fee and has been getting triple the amount of bookings he used to get.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Well, because
Wow.
I mean, I can see people saying, "Finally, someone's going to tell me how
Tell me
this
how
is
to
done,"
do it,
and they
yeah.
just they weave that into your act. About, okay, let me show you how.
but
this
I don't
happened."
know why he's coming under fire because
I
Penn
do.
and Penn and Teller have been doing this for years.
Telling people how they do
This
it.
is you can go online. This is how the trick is done.
I didn't know that.
We're gonna show you the trick first.
Yeah.
And everybody goes ooh and ah and how they did it.
Yeah.
And they said now we're gonna do it with the box that Teller is in.
Yeah.
Penn's the one that Teller doesn't.
I think
speak.
Penn's the big guy and
Yeah.
Teller's
Okay.
quiet. Yeah.
So now the box is transparent.
okay.
And we're going to see how we do it. And the cups they use to hide the balls, they're going to be transparent too. And
Okay.
you're going to see how we do it.
Okay.
And it's more fascinating to see how they do it, how you got fooled.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like, I should have seen that.
I didn't realize Penn and Teller did that because
They-
you're right.
you
There
can
is
go online
sort
and
of
see
this.
it. Oh, there's that
There's always
code.
been that code, right,
You
among
don't-
magicians.
Yeah.
Don't tell because you'll ruin it for everybody.
But it's
But he's-
fascinating to watch because they are so good, not only at sleight of hand, but also at misdirection. And that's what it's all about. And they want you looking over there. They know how to get you to look over there while they're
right.
doing something with their other hand and hiding something. It's amazing that that it can be done.
I can understand. I don't think it's a big deal that he's doing it, but I think the problem is in this age with the internet and with YouTube, if you start, I mean, now you're sharing it with millions of people, and you really could be ruining people's careers down the line because
Maybe.
it's like, oh, I know what you did.
Yeah, I know how that's done. It's in his pocket. But I'm always impressed with magicians that wear short sleeves. Oh, it's up his sleeve. Well,
No,
I don't
no,
have
it's not.
sleeves.
No,
I'm like,
it's-
well, then where is it? Can't figure it out. All right, that'll do it for the show for today. We thank you very much for listening in. Tom Ward, thanks for coming in.
My pleasure. See you next week.
See you next week. That'll be great. And Linda Tebow, thanks for coming in.
My pleasure as always.
All right, this is Joe Callahan. Have a great day, everyone. Try to stay cool. Stay tuned for Gary Smith and the crew. Do you remember at 9:30 here on ON Radio.
Broadcasting live and local daily from the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Avenue and Kennedy Street. This is WOON Woonsocket Radio. And now, the news. Rhode Island Governor Dan McKee and Secretary of Commerce Liz Tanner have announced the recipients of $290,000 worth of mini grants to support businesses in the tourism